everyone. Today we are going to be learning about assessing young learners. Now first off, what does assessment mean? Assessment is the process of evaluating one's knowledge using any kind of assessment method, such as tests, quizzes, and questionnaires. The assessment approaches we will learn are aimed towards young children, aged between 6 to 12. Why assess young children? Assessing young children's knowledge may sound a bit harsh at first, but it's a crucial part of teaching and learning. Assessing young children has four main purposes. The first purpose is to monitor and aid children's progress. This will help you to be aware of what the students know and what difficulties they are facing in order to give them feedback. The second one is to provide children with evidence of their progress and enhance motivation. This will help children to see themselves learning more, and they will become encouraged to learn more. The third one is to monitor your performance and plan future work. This will help you to find out how effective your methodology and materials were. The last one is to provide information for parents, colleagues, and school authorities. Keeping related people informed about the students' processes is an important thing. Now, what do we assess? Language involves using all four skills jointly, but teachers should assess those skills separately to detect problems more clearly. So when it comes to listening, children should be taught how to infer meaning, predict content, listen for gist, and listen for detailed information. When it comes to speaking, the main objective for children is to achieve oral communication, so their pronunciation should be correct, intonation appropriate, and they should know when to speak or listen. Also, sub-skills such as conveying messages, asking questions, introducing themselves are also crucial. When it comes to reading, children should develop intensive reading, skimming, scanning, and predicting content. When it comes to writing, for children the main purpose is to master the Roman alphabet first, and then copying, handwriting, basic spelling, and basic sentence formation are also crucial. And please note that grammar isn't the most important thing for children to focus on, because this will bore them. Integrated skills, which is using multiple skills at once. Language skills are used jointly in real life, so children should be able to use skills together, and by being able to use multiple skills at once, children learn to cope in real life situations. Learning how to learn. Children have to be trained to use learning skills of today's world, skills such as using a dictionary, the internet, or other resources, and also reflecting on their learning. Children should therefore be assessed according to these skills. So, for example, using technology to assess students is an example of this. Also, you should help children to develop useful learning habits, which will influence the rest of their learning career. Attitudes. The priority is to foster positive attitudes in childhood. Now, because children are easily influenced, negative attitudes are hard to change in the future for them. So when you see a child having a negative attitude toward the target language, you need to intervene. Attitude assessment can be done during conferencing, questionnaires, and observation. Behavioral and social skills. Teachers of young learners should promote and assess, being polite, empathetic, and appreciative of their own and others' efforts. How do we assess? Most children are too young to really realize the usefulness of learning a foreign language, so they need other reasons to motivate them, such as drawing, games, songs, puzzles, and drama. Portfolio assessment. A language portfolio is a collection of work produced by a child over a period of time. It offers the teacher a complete picture of a child's work and development when it comes to assessing. Structured assessment tasks and activities. These are organized by the teacher in order to assess knowledge, skills, and attitude. These activities are such as drawing, miming, cutting and pasting, pointing, and touching, etc. They are useful for assessing receptive skills too, and also effective for shy or weak children. Projects. Projects are suitable for assessing mixed ability groups. They also push students to integrate language skills, and they also promote student creativity. But be aware that projects are very time consuming and also demanding. Self-assessment. Self-assessment is a process of a child assessing his or her own work with the help of the teacher. Self-assessment promotes monitoring one's own progress, reflecting on one's abilities, and setting personal goals. And by that, children feel like they have a say in their assessment because they're assessing their own work. Self-assessment methods. The most important methods are portfolios, questionnaires, conferencing, graphic representation, and dialogue journals. Peer assessment. Children learn to respect and accept each other through assessing each other's work. This positively influences the classroom atmosphere. Children trust each other more, and it also minimizes the negative aspect of competition. Traditional tests, which are multiple choices, true-false statements, etc. Tests are objective, easy to mark, and easy to prepare, but tests are not ideal for children because children find tests intimidating and stressful. But if you have to assess children with traditional tests, you should always complement the result with other assessment techniques. Learner-developed assessment tasks. By creating a task of their own, children become more responsible and mature because they have to think about what they're supposed to know and have to set appropriate performance criteria. And also the assessment process becomes less stressful and less threatening. Take-home tasks. This is a task that children can complete at home after discussion with the teacher. These tasks are suitable for mixed ability classes, and also they foster autonomous learning because children take responsibility for completing the task by themselves. Observation. Teachers make judgments about young learners every lesson, but they are not recorded. To record observations, one has to make short notes soon after the lesson or use checklists during or after the lesson. But be aware that observation is subjective and should be used with other assessment methods to keep it objective. Conferencing. Conferencing is a private and one-to-one or small group conversation with students. Children need to feel comfortable during this to express themselves freely. Mainly used to assess attitude and learning style, but speaking skills can also be assessed if it's done with speaking the target language. But if the conference is about the child's attitude or learning skill, speaking in the native language of the child is recommended. If time is an issue, a written conference can be done. Thank you for your participation.